Hey everyone, just want to give an update on the PinePhone Pro I have here, which, yeah, I've been using for the past week and a half or so, so I got a little bit of an idea what it's all about and where we're at this particular stage in the software development and the usability of the phone and everything like that. But before I really dive into it, I just want to say the phone, it's cool. I like it. I like it that the fact that it's light. If you want to compare it to, say, I have an Apple here. I think it's the XR Apple. I'm not exactly sure which one it is, but it's got a little bit more heft to it. And in comparison to, say, this phone here, it's LG V60. This one's got some heft to it because it's got like the metal case to it. So this one you can actually feel it when it's in your hands. This one's light. I like the PinePhone's feel. It's got that really light feeling to it. And it's got some other features that you don't get on newer phones. And I'm just going to touch on them really quick. Number one, you get the LED light. It's not flashing right now, but if I do get a message or anything that shows that I have an indication that I have to be looking at it, this light flashes. And it flashes in a whole bunch of different colors. It could be red, white, green, blue, whatever color. So that's awesome. So the fact that it has an LED indicator, I miss that on a phone. And the PinePhone has it, which is really cool. The removable back cover, love it. It gives me access to changing the battery if ever the battery needs to be changed because it gets too old. But it allows me also to put in extra memory with the SD card slot. So that is cool. And it also gives me access to the toggle switches on the back where I could turn off access to, say, the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth or the mic or the modem, so I can't send data, or the camera. So you could cut off the physical connection to any of those devices, so it gives you an added layer of security if that's what you're seeking in a phone, and certainly the PinePhone delivers that in spades. So I just want to say that initially I got the software and it was junk. The stock OS that came with this, and it was noted in the paperwork that I got, and even the paperwork said it was going to be outdated, and it was. I think it was the Manjaro ARM Plasma Mobile, and yeah, it just wasn't very good. So I've been fiddling around with it. Tried the Mobium. Mobium was really cool. Then I tried moving to Arch and tried the Phosh, and both the Phosh and the Plasma version. Both were cool. I think that ultimately I settled back with the Phosh version. It's in fact, this is the one that I have right now. I tried also the Manjaro Plasma, the newest one that they have available, which is the March 11th version, but still it wasn't good enough. But here we are with this is the Arch version of the Phosh UI. So a lot of people hopefully are familiar with this type of UI. Really, you'll have just this or the Plasma are really the only two that are the big ones right now. I can say that with this one, I can receive calls, no problem. Texts, for the most part, I don't think I could receive MMSs on this one. I was able to receive MMSs on the Manjaro Plasma on the March 11th release, but not on the Arch version, not the Arch with the Phosh UI. I'm not able to receive any MMS messages for whatever reason. The power management is borked. Plain and simple, does not work under this particular setup. The only way, from what I understand, to fix it is you have to do something with the bootloader to change it to the Tau boot, I think it's called. So when you change the bootloader, then it gives you options, or at least internally it could get access to the suspend state. Right now, I don't have suspend state on this, so it's always draining the battery at a quite a fast clip. And the password I have is 123456. It's still a stock. I haven't changed it. So it's running everything off the SD card, and so everything's a little bit slower. It's like if I open up, say, Firefox, for instance, you can see it takes a little bit longer to load up, but it does. It works. It's fine. It's fully functional. So I could make telephone calls. I could take get text, send texts, emails, because I loaded up my Gmail account on this. It has access to my Gmail emails. So I can send and receive emails with my account, my personal account, which is cool. So really, this is a daily driver. The only problem is the power management is really, really bad. It's lacking. It's terrible. But this is something I know, and so in order for me to get around it, I actually had to go into it, and to change the option, I had to remove the suspend state. So if you look at where it says suspend state, hopefully it zooms in, and mine, it says automatic suspend is off, and that's the only way that I can make it work, because if I put that up to the automatic suspend to be on, after like 5 minutes or so of not using the phone, it goes into suspend state, like all phones would do, and it kind of goes into lower power version and conserves the battery, sends, I guess, processes in the background that aren't needed, and stuff like that. But in this phone, the way it's set up on a PinePhone Pro, in the current state, it just doesn't wake up. It gets in the sleep state and it never recovers. The only way to recover it is you gotta hold the power button or take out the battery and put it back in. Both of them kind of suck. It doesn't really work in that regard. I understand the PinePhone, the original, is able to use the suspend state fine, and that gives you like at least better functionality out of the phone. The PinePhone Pro, the software isn't yet mature like it is on the PinePhone. So this is something that's coming out, but they did also unlock the suspend state when you change the bootloader to the Tau boot instead of the U boot that is currently on my phone. But all in all, I could just say, like, it's zippy. Like, if you look at it, like my number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's zippy. Like, it works. Like, not a problem. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm pleasantly surprised about the phone. The only thing I wish they could resolve to make it like truly workable is the power management. That's key. If they could figure that out, oh, it's light years ahead at where it is right now. The software, it's hit and miss in terms of finding stuff that works. Using the software store, I forget what it's called. Just click on software, and you could actually see, like, from here you could load up different software, and you could do a search on something and find like Firefox or whatever. I already have Firefox installed, so I don't have to search for it. But sometimes when you search for software, it won't install it. It gives you errors along the way. Also, I've been trying to fiddle with some emulators, Android emulators to be specific, and there's 2 of them. Waydroid is one of them, and that's the better of the 2. And so that I've been trying to use that, but unfortunately I've been having some real issues with figuring out how to make it work. So unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck. I'm not able to use the Waydroid, and the other one is Nbox. Same deal. I'm kind of stuck. I'm not able to use it for whatever reason. I'm gonna keep trying, keep hacking away to make it work. From what I understand, if you get Waydroid to work, it's very good, except it doesn't use the hardware acceleration on the PinePhone Pro, because it's just not set up for that at this particular moment, which is fine. It's something that they'll have to work on. But if they do get it to work, and then you have a really functioning Linux phone that could take advantage of some of the apps that are available in the Android ecosystem. You won't be able to have access to everything. If it's on the Play Store, you won't be able to get access to it, but you can use F-Droid to download a whole bunch of apps. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that out, to seeing if it's possible that I could get some specific apps that I'd love to get access to on my Linux phone here. One being my ShakePay app. If I could get that loaded up on this and every day shake my phone, and I've been able to collect Satoshis from doing so, I basically reached the nirvana for making this particular phone work for me. So yeah, it's power management, getting access to select few Android apps, I guess some functionality with the maps on this one. I mean, I tried the maps, it's kind of meh, but I could live with it. And Bluetooth it's not working right now from what I understand. I haven't been able to get it to work at all. That for me, it's not a deal breaker. It's not a big deal, but for some people it might be. So something to consider. And yeah, so with that being said, maybe I'll just move the camera over. You get a better view of the phone and see what how to make it operate, and yeah, give you an idea what it's all about. And here's the up close version of the phone. Let's see how this works. So you can see it's pretty zippy when I try to just even open it up. You know, I punch in my password of 123456, which is the stock password on this particular version, and voila, here's like the app drawer, and this is kind of the base screen you have. You don't have a particular like screen where you could just dump particular apps on. You just have this one big mess of apps, and even then you could go further. There's even a mobile friendly apps that you could open here, and it's a little bit less, and here's all of them. So yeah, so like not much is on it right now. I mean, if you look at Firefox, for instance, it loads fine. No problems there. I mean, I could check Twitter out, and yeah, it works. There's a app that you could get. I think it's called Cobird, and Cobird is a application that you could use for Twitter. Twitter is something I tend to use a lot to get a lot of information, and for our podcast. And between Cobird and using the using Firefox, that's really the only way it works for me. So this works fine, and you know, it's just for simple browsing. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. So I mean, there's not much else to say except for if you do have this, make sure you go into the settings, you find the power management to take off the suspend. So for me, I had to go in this over here and go to automatic suspend and take that off. Is if I left that on, the phone is going to go, say, after 5 minutes of not being used, when it's on battery power, it's just going to go into the suspend state, and I'll never be able to get it off there. But one problem about never going to suspend state is the power draw over here. You see right now it's at 59%. It's going to go down. It's going to go down significantly, even if you're not using it. So what I tend to do is close all the apps, because any apps that are running are going to continue to run. Even if I just close the phone and leave it like that, I could feel that the phone is warm because it's still running at a pretty decent clip. So it's not throttling anything. So if you have a lot of apps open, even when the screen is off, it's going to draw a lot of power, and your percentage is going to go down. Now it's at 58%. So yeah, it's rather cool. Like, and you have the terminal. It's a fully functioning Linux distribution. It's so cool. I hooked up my mouse, my keyboard, and my my monitor to this, and although I wasn't able to get the monitor to work, I was able to get the keyboard and the mouse to work. In fact, let me give it a try right now. Give me 1 second. So here we go. This is the PinePhone Pro. Now it's hooked up to this hub, and this is a USB hub. Yeah, I guess USB hub that's powered. So it's receiving power through this. That's a USB-C, and that in turn is powering the PinePhone. And I have hooked up a keyboard and mouse to it. You could also hook up HDMI and VGA, but neither of those two work with the PinePhone, so I'm not going to be hooking that up today. And excuse me for the wires, but I have a lack of space on my workbench here. And as you can see, so now with the mouse and keyboard hooked up to it, it fully functions. There's the mouse cursor, and you know, if I want to go check out, say, open up a terminal, type on my keyboard, and it works. Like, it works really, really well. So that's the beauty of this phone. It could function as both a phone and a computer. That's the convergence part. And if they could somehow make this work, that it could unlock the full potential of the PinePhone through the hardware acceleration and to optimize the software so it's much quicker, you have a really cool device here that runs on Linux, will be open source, so you know it's going to be secure. Furthermore, it also has the switches in the back that you could turn off some of the devices, like the Wi-Fi if you don't like that, or the cameras if you want to turn that off so you don't want to have anyone spying you just in case. You have these options on this particular phone. So that is absolutely phenomenal. But there is the one elephant in the room I want to address. Currently, the camera doesn't work on the PinePhone Pro. It's not that it doesn't work, it's the software hasn't been able to take advantage of it, which is I find to be rather ironic, because the front-facing camera on this phone, which is right there, is the rear-facing camera on the regular PinePhone. And on the regular PinePhone, it worked fine, the rear-facing camera. So the software was able to take advantage of it. So it's actually kind of, it's interesting how they weren't able to make the front-facing camera, at the very least, work off this phone. I can understand the rear-facing camera, but the front-facing, like, they have the software already to take advantage of it. But I guess that's something that's going to have to be addressed later on. But as a whole, right now, the phone, it's definitely functional, but it's just the battery issue. You can see that right now it's 53%. Even that, like, I have to have it hooked up to a very powerful charger to make sure that it charges. It doesn't charge when it's off. As soon as I hook the charger up to it, even if it's off, it turns on. So you have to have a very powerful charging brick in order to charge this PinePhone Pro in its current state. Once they solve that particular issue, the rest, the Bluetooth, the camera, that's just, like, for me, secondary. And we have now a fully functioning PinePhone Pro that is hopefully, with a few more releases, the software will be stable and very, very workable. This is very exciting. It's a computer in your pocket that you could do so much with. There's so much potential with this particular phone that you don't have with other ones. That's why I'm very excited about this. Oh, look, the jumped up by 1%, so slowly charging, which I'm very excited that this charger that's hooked up to it right now is able to charge it in its current state. But yeah, I can't speak about my excitement enough about this phone. Really, really cool. I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to watch the development take place. I'll try my best to give as much feedback as possible to ensure that the developers have enough information to continue to develop this, and to make sure that it will be developed to a point where it is usable for all users, not just people like me, but for everybody. So once I get this up and going, fingers crossed, I could also get the emulator to work, Android emulator, Waydroid. If I could get that going, and my ShakePay app, I'm golden. And I'm laughing, and I have it all. But until then, it's still kind of work in progress, but it works for me. Very, very functional, very zippy. I saw video footages of other, like the original PinePhone. It wasn't as quick as this one. This one, it's quick, And keep in mind, it's running right now off the SD card. Everything installed is on the SD card, so it's going to be, from what I understand, 7 to 8 times slower than the internal memory on this. So if I were to flash this particular operating system on the internal memory, the access time to get for that internal memory is much quicker, 7 to 8 times faster than the SD card. So even now, I'm looking at this and it's okay. It's going to be even better if I were to use the internal memory on this. And so, yeah, I'm very bullish on this thing. It's so cool. And looking forward to seeing the next renditions of this one, because, as the software improves on this, because as it does, wow, we got a real winner here. And yeah, look, see, I'm using my mouse to scroll wheel. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my wrap up of the PinePhone Pro. Really cool device, lots of potential. I can't talk highly enough of it. And even in its current state, it's still so much fun to use. I wouldn't recommend this though if you are not good with Linux, if you want something simple and easy to use, because this is not the device. It's not there yet. I'm not sure if it will ever get there, but at least for me, my aspirations and what I expected this to achieve, for me, like, it's definitely in the ballpark. It could hit the home run here, and it's getting close to getting there. Just one thing I forgot to mention too, the speaker on this, it's okay, nothing special. It's okay. So if this is something that you really love, you like to have a loud and very solid speaker, yeah, you're not gonna get it. But it does have a headphone jack, so that's something cool. If that's something you like, certainly I do. But yeah, that's it. I'll keep giving you all an update on the phone. Hopefully it gives you a little bit more insight on the phone itself. I'm going to be posting some instructions below as for how I was able to address the initial bootloader problem, because the bootloader initially it only opens up the internal memory and it doesn't access the SD card. There's a simple command line you have to just punch in, and then it always accesses the SD card first, and then it goes to the internal memory next. So it just makes it easier if you're going to flash stuff on SD cards. Just makes it simple. So I'm going to post a few things below. Hopefully it will help you out with getting things moving. Also, there's going to be one instruction I'm going to put for Firefox, because if you use Firefox version 98, it's not usable on this PinePhone from what I understand. You have to revert back to version 97. I have the instructions how to get there and how to do it, so that should help you out a little bit. And yeah, I'll also post instructions on the Waydroid and what's the other, Andbox. So if those are the two Android emulators, so you can give those a go. Hopefully it works for you. If not, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So yeah, until next time, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll keep doing this as I keep moving along this path. So yeah, take care.